And India Today is the only channel reporting from Moscow during this Victory Day parade. India Today's Foreign Affairs editor Geeta Mohan was right there bringing you these images live, and she joins me now. Geeta, as usual, an amazing parade, but one couldn't help sense, even from this distance away, a kind of heaviness that hung over everything. Even the air display was cancelled because of apparently bad weather. I can't help wondering whether there may have been some other reasons. But Geeta, you were there. It must have been much more palpable to you. A lot of expectation from Putin's speech, providing some indicator of how he was going to reshape what's happening in Ukraine, or provide some indicators of the next steps. What's the sense that you got, Geeta?
Well, before I talk about Putin's speech, you spoke about the weather, Shiv. The weather was inclement to the extent that the air projection, the projection of the air might of the Russian armed forces was not visible today because the weather conditions did not allow it. The city of Moscow is still under lockdown in many ways than one, because people are allowed to move, but the entire area around Red Square still barricaded. Nobody is being allowed entry. It's the Immortal Regiment's march. That's the procession of civilians who have families, relatives who laid down their lives in World War II. Their procession will begin in some time from now. And that's also important. You'll see a lot of them holding photographs and remembering. The idea is to immortalize the sacrifices, not just of the forces, but anyone and everyone who contributed to Soviet Union's victory in the Second World War. Now, coming to Putin's speech, Shiv,
yes.
It was concise. It was not a very long one, but one that spelled out exactly what a determined and, should I say, a defiant Putin had to put to not just the country but the world. The message is clear. He began with the cities that he named, and that's Kharkiv, the Donbas region, Mariupol. Shiv, that's indicative of what the plans are. That eastern Ukraine beyond Donbas, which he's already declared as two independent republics, Donetsk and Luhansk, or Crimea, the captured territories are not going to go back to Ukraine. Not anytime soon, certainly. De-Ukrainization and Russianization of these territories have already begun, like we reported. But more importantly over here, Putin also said that NATO and the Ukrainian administration talking about how they regret having given up nuclear arms, and the conversation about being armed again is something that's unacceptable. It's a red line. So it is going to be a long drawn conflict. But most importantly, over here, while you're capturing territories, you're an invader, you're an aggressor, the idea is to reassert the idea of Soviet Union, that they're all one. And that's why I keep saying this. The flags that you see of Soviet victory flag is not just confined to Moscow or major cities in Russia. All the captured territories have Russian flags beyond Donbas, have Russian flags and the Soviet victory flag. And that is to remain. So he's determined, but there is immense pressure back home because of the economy. How long can he sustain? It's 75 days today since the war began, Shiv. The question is, how long can Russia sustain and absorb the losses or the inflation? There is inflation here when it comes to food, basic necessities, about 20%, which is very high, but he's absorbing that
right
at the very basic minimum level. But at a macro level, it is going to start impacting Russia sooner than later.
Geeta, thanks very much for getting us that comprehensive update from Moscow.